returning subscribers that are just tuning back in and stopping by, I thank you so much for stopping by. For anyone who is new and stopping by, I thank you so much for stopping by. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you for rocking with me since day one. And for anyone that's just joining me on my journey, I thank you so much for rocking with me and continuing on with me. You guys are the real MVP. So today I'm going to be getting into something that I thought would be really cool to talk to you guys about, that I haven't really seen videos about. Maybe they are, I just haven't seen them. I'm going to be talking to you today about making DIYs 101. So giving you a lot of the ins and outs of it. I've been making DIYs or Ayurvedic deep conditioners or hair mask or vegan hair mask for almost 2 years now, and I've seen such great benefits for my hair and the health of my hair as well. And it's also helped me to incorporate these vegan practices, some of them, not all, into my lifestyle and how I eat and things like that. So without further ado, we're going to get into my video in regards to vegan hair care practices and DIYs, because I know you guys are excited to see that. I have a list here, so let's do this. The first thing I want to talk to you guys about are the benefits of making hair masks on your own at home. The first thing is there are no toxins, so you don't have to worry about any crazy chemicals, things that are going to kill you, that are going to cause health issues. You pretty much know everything that's in there because it's a lot of fruits and vegetables and herbs and oils and things like that. The next thing is you will see faster or rapid hair growth. I've noticed that from using the mask. I try to tell y'all that I'm giving y'all stuff that's going to help y'all and that's going to be key for your hair to remain healthy. I've noticed substantial hair growth since I've began making my hair mask. I started off with one herb and now I use many and different fruits and things like that as well. The next thing I do want to say is in some aspects it can be cheaper. I'll get into that a little bit later, but it can be cheaper in regards to if you're going to a produce market and you buy your fruits and vegetables, or if you go to a supermarket, you know, it's a lot cheaper with that. Herbs, you can kind of shop around and see it being cheaper, as well as with oils. The other thing is it is healthier for you. We did talk about that, and it's healthier for your hair, and you get more product, but you're spending less money ultimately in some cases, meaning, you know, you can go and get, like, for instance, avocados near me at my produce market. They're two for $1.75. So that's a good deal for me, and so I'm able to buy those and basically pay a little less than $2 and get 2 hair mask uses out of it. You know, if I want to make multiple ones, then that's fine too as well. So that's also another good deal also. Let's talk about the cons of making your own hair mask. The first thing is, and people worry about, is they can be messy. There are ways to make it not be as messy, but they can be messy. They can get everywhere. You've seen me come on a video, one that I just dropped not too long ago, where I made my mask and shot my video. It can get everywhere, but it doesn't have to be. There's different ways you can kind of get around that. It just gets to be messy. Next thing is, the herbs, they can be, in this instance, pricey. When I was buying from the company that I was buying from, my jars are very small, and I paid $40 for each jar, $39, I'm sorry, for each jar. And it lasted me a long time, but it was expensive, and it's expensive to keep up with. So it can be pricey depending on who you go to. There are some places that are cheaper. The other thing it can be time consuming, meaning it can take a lot of time to make it. You have to cut the fruits up. You have to cut the vegetables up if you're using those. You have to pour the herbs in, measure those out, measure the oil out, measure how much of the other things that you're going to be utilizing and pouring in there as well. It can be time consuming and an extra component to your wash day and prepping for your wash day as well. The other thing I want to get into is the educational part and just educating you guys on DIYs. Now, this part is different. There are different types of herbs you can use. You can use henna, you can use guacamole, avocado, or avocados are guacamole, same difference. You also can use turmeric, you also can use hibiscus, you also can use amla, you also can use shikakai, you can use brahmi. There's so many different herbs that you can utilize that have different benefits for your natural hair. I'm not going to go into that, just the different herbs. There's so many videos, so much information out there. If you go and you research it, those herbs are from the earth, and that's something that God has given us. They're not just used for your hair and to make your hair healthy and help with a lot of like scalp issues that people may have with like eczema. They may have psoriasis, seborrheic dermatitis. A lot of those herbs help with with those flare-ups that you may have. I know that my scalp can get really flaky, so using these DIYs has helped me too, in a sense, with that as well. So you definitely want to use, there's different types of herbs, but you can research that, as well as with foods. Bananas have great benefits. I've been using those for almost 2 years. Avocados, I just started using those are great as well. You can use carrots, you can use blueberries, you can use strawberries. I've used apples before. There's so many different things you can utilize as well and put into your hair mask that will be awesome. But I would say, just a tip, if you are going to be using those, just make sure they're not hard. With bananas, they're usually not. It's a softer consistency. But with avocados, if you're getting them when they're extremely fresh, like I get them from the produce market, I usually have to wait like a day or two for it to soften up, so it's a little bit easier for me to cut up. Because when you try to cut it up and it's hard, you are adding an extra step in with having to drain out little chunks and pieces because it's hard. But if you wait like a day or two, it'll soften up, and it makes it easier to blend in your blender. Sometimes with the bigger blenders, I believe you should be able to just grind it up. If you have a small blender like I do, it's a lot easier if you just wait for it to get a little bit softer, maybe a day or two, and then you'll be able to cut it up as well. Also, the next thing is for oils. They're optional. I just started, there's oils in the herbs that I've brought, but I just started like incorporating essential oils into my hair mask that I make. So oils are an optional thing. You don't have to put it in there, but it just adds and gives that hair mask that you're making some oomph. I've found it's been doing well for the past few hair masks that I've been making. There's different oils you can use. I like to get the essential oils where there's a bunch all in one bottle, so I don't have to buy separate ones. It just saves me more money and mixing it in there as well. The next part are measurements. Now, I have a recipe up, I think like 1 or 2 recipes up on Instagram that you guys can try in regards to DIYs that I've posted. But in regards to like how much of each thing, I'm going to tell you, I measure everything by eye. I've been doing that, you know, that's how I cook with like seasoning and things like that. And also that's what I've been doing in regards to with measuring things and seeing how much will be too much or what I need. Everything is measured by eye. I'm not utilizing like any measuring cups or like any of those like deep measuring spoons or anything like that. So if you're asking me in regards to measurements and how much, I wouldn't be able to tell you. If I was creating a recipe book for that, wouldn't be able to tell you. I measure by eye, but you can kind of just measure it out and see, like, I guess if you're buying like store-bought deep conditioners, just go and see if you can make enough that's the consistency of like the store-bought deep conditioner, but that will be enough to cover and suffice to do a whole deep conditioning session, if that makes sense. I have a video and I'll link it in the cards in regards to just how I do my whole making my wash day products, so you guys can kind of see it. You can get an idea that way, but I do measure by eye. I don't use cups or anything like that. The next thing is the amount that you would apply. So that's again like just how much you're going to be applying. You may not have to apply as much. It may just go through. I know with me, my hair is thick, so I use pretty much a lot of everything. I make a lot of my DIY mask because I know that I want to utilize it again, and so I make more than enough so that I can freeze the rest. The other thing is there are the different ways to mix it. You know, you have your different types of blenders and your mixers and things like that. It's best to do it in a blender so that way you can mix everything up, and make sure you just finely cut it up. Don't have too big of chunks unless you have a bigger blender that can handle it. But if you have a mini blender like I do, you want to just make sure that you cut that stuff up and put it in a little bit at a time and just blend it. That's what I do if it's too much. If I cut up enough for my mask and I'm not using like a lot of fruits or vegetables or things like that, I'll just put enough in there and just make sure it's cut up really good. The next thing is in regards to storage. Now, when I'm going to use my deep conditioner like the next day and I've prepped it and made it, I'll put it in a refrigerator. But if I know, like prime example, I know I'm not using my deep conditioner until Friday, so what I did was I made it and I put it in a freezer, so that way it saves just for me to be able to have it a little bit longer, and then I just take it out, let it thaw out, and then I'll put it on my natural hair. It usually doesn't take that long to thaw out if you just sit it out and let it sit. Don't put it in a microwave because it takes all of the nutrients and things that you would be getting from the mask out of it. Just let it sit out, or you can take like whatever bowl or anything that you have it in. And if you boil like a pot of hot water, you can kind of just sit it in there, but make sure it's a container with a top on it, and you can thaw it out that way. So that's another way to do it if you don't want it to sit out, but usually I let mine sit out because I have time. The other thing is, the last thing is, when to apply the DIY mask is dependent upon if you're just making a moisturizing DIY hair mask, meaning there's no protein in it, then you can apply that to your hair every week, or every time you wash your hair. But if it's a mask that has protein in it, that's not something that you want to apply every time you wash your hair. I would do every 2 weeks. That's what we call a lighter protein treatment, with like the famous Apogee protein treatment. You can't apply that one that often. You have to kind of wait some months to do it in between, to my understanding of that. I've never used it before, but this is what I've heard. I use a lighter protein treatment with the henna, as well as, or people have done like the rice water mix. And so you can apply that every 2 weeks, and not the rice water mix, but you can apply the henna like every 2 weeks within your wash day when you're making the mask. I just do both to kind of get it out the way when I'm doing it, to do my protein moisture balance. So I'll do moisturizing components and herbs, but I'll also include the henna in there to throw in that protein. And so that's how I do my protein treatments. I don't have any more of the henna, so I'm going to be looking into newer herbs to buy, probably from like a herbal store, to be able to utilize in place of that. And then also there's like different recipes. If you go on Pinterest or if you go on the internet, they have different DIY recipes that have the actual cup measurements that you can look at and try to see and make on your own at home. I hope this video was really helpful. I just felt like it would be good for you guys to know, in case you were interested in making your own hair mask and you kind of are like tired of buying store-bought ones. They have amazing benefits to your hair. Your hair will look bomb. I'm just going to tell you all your styles. That's why all my stuff comes out flawless. I use a lot of that stuff. You don't have to worry about anything extra blocking any moisture or anything like that. It's just going to be perfect, but you do need to balance out how often you're using it. That's all I have for you guys. Again, you can look on Pinterest, everywhere else. Follow me on Instagram at JNME, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.